Chapter 1581 Inhuman. Juan Ping was blasted into the sea. He floated up from the cold seawater. The golden energy gathered at the bottom of his feet, forming a stable platform. He was soaked all over, breathing heavily, and looked extremely embarrassed. The clothes on his upper body had been blasted into pieces, revealing his pale back. But there was a horrible crack in the spine of his back, revealing a black spine. Jang had already arrived here, and when he saw the scene in front of him, he was also confused. This guy's body is so strange. Could it be that he is a cyborg? Although he was confused, Jang did not hesitate to attack. Take advantage of your illness to kill you. If you can capture him alive, you can consider it, but you should consider killing Juan Ping first. You can't let him go even a drop of water. The sword in the tree cut through the sky. Void continuous slash. Jang was suspended in the air, and the long sword in his hand kept waving. The narrow black blade fell towards the sea like a big net, leaving no room for Juan Ping to dodge. If Juan Ping wanted to compete with Jang in speed, he would have absolutely no chance of winning. At this time, he was severely injured. Apart from choosing to fight Jang, there was no way to escape. He gasped heavily, and the golden light on his body surged and finally formed a set of heavy golden armor on the surface of his body. The void blade fell, ping-pong on his armor, and actually blocked Jang's attack. However, every time the void blade fell, the light of his golden armor would weaken a little, and Juan Ping's body was uncontrollably knocked back. At this time, the second round of energy storage of the Tianwei cannon had been completed. That terrifying power, Juan Ping had been prepared this time, so he noticed it at the first time. But what can he do if he noticed it? Even if it was just Jang on the front battlefield, it was difficult for him to deal with it. Disable your hands and feet, surrender, or die, Jang said to him. Juan Ping's eyes darkened, and there was uncontrollable anger and despair in his eyes. You want me to surrender? Just a bug like you? Haha, absolutely impossible. He roared, and the golden power in his right hand condensed into a huge war spear and threw it towards Jang fiercely. But this time, it was difficult to penetrate even one of Zhang dimensional gates. You are too weak, Jang said coldly. These words made Juan Ping furious. The golden light on his body was like trying to squeeze the water out of a sponge, trying to squeeze it out, and then turned into various weapons to attack Zhang. However, the 4 words absolute defense are not a joke. Defense is the best offense. This is Zhang's motto. Facing an existence lower than him, Zhang always strikes hard and will not leave any chance to the opponent. Since you are looking for death, don't blame me. Zhang twisted his 2 fingers in the air, and in the void, a huge force instantly twisted and squeezed Juan Ping into a ball. At the same time, Lu Kuren also launched a shocking attack from the Tianwei cannon. Under the double attack, Juan Ping's body was almost blown to pieces. The strong explosion made the seawater in the East China Sea evaporate, and a huge spherical hole with a radius of more than 10 kilometers was blasted out on the sea surface. Then there was a boom of seawater pouring back. At this moment, Zhang's pupils shrank suddenly because he saw something different on Juan Ping's body. Under their attack, Juan Ping's body was ulcerated, and the pale skin actually fell off like newspapers pasted on the wall, revealing the dark red thorn-like skin underneath. That was not human skin. There were dense bumps on his arms, and the texture of the skin was very much like metal. Especially his arms. As the skin fragments fell off, his palms were exposed. No, that was not a palm, but a claw. Slender, including scales, dark red claws with sharp claws. An orc-type alien? Or he is not a human? Zhang was shocked. If it was an orc-type alien, there was no need to cover up the body in this way. Unless he looks like this, so he has to use artificial skin to cover himself. What the hell is this guy? Where did he come from? Zhang's mind was very confused, but his body reacted instinctively before his thoughts.
Kill.
No matter who the other party is, as long as he may threaten his existence, then kill him. Dead people are the safest. Star Cannon. Zhang Yi took advantage of Juan Ping's weakest moment, condensed the most powerful force in his body, and fired a star cannon directly at Juan Ping. The ultra-high-speed void energy was like a sharp sword, directly piercing through all obstacles between the two, and also piercing through Juan Ping's chest. Juan Ping looked down at the black sword on his chest, and dark green blood flowed down his wound. He seemed unable to believe the scene before his eyes. Zhang Yi knew that Juan Ping no longer had the strength to fight back, and his strength was severely exhausted. So he wanted to catch him alive. Zhang Yi swooped down, and the sword in the tree in his hand suddenly soared in the air, turning into thousands of huge vines, casting a large net in the air, and covering Juan Ping's head. Juan Ping raised his head and said to Zhang Yi with an extremely weird and miserable expression, "This is not the end, but just a beginning. After I die, your doomsday will not be far away. Remember, there will be someone much stronger than me. Nothing can change the ending of your death. This is you, the price of killing gods." Zhang Yi frowned, feeling something was wrong, and the sword in the tree in his hand was released faster, trying to completely restrain Juan Ping. The huge vines in the sky closed in the air, forming an extremely huge sphere, and then compressed towards the middle. But at this moment, Juan Ping raised his right hand, and his 5 fingers were together like a sharp sword and pierced directly into his heart. An extremely terrifying force exploded with him as the center. Juan Ping chose to end his life, and he was unwilling to become Zhang Yi's captive even if he died. However, facing this level of explosion, Zhang Yi did not choose to dodge, but dived down with the power of the explosion. This level of explosion is not enough to threaten me. Even if you want to die, leave your origin to me. A disabled black chariot wanted to stop Zhang Yi from obtaining his origin in this way, but it was impossible. The sword in the tree directly penetrated his body, and before Juan Ping's body was shattered by the explosion, the origin wrapped around him returned to Zhang Yi's hand. Chapter 1582. Who is he? Juan Ping's origin fell into Zhang Yi's hands. He was not in a hurry to absorb it, but collected it first. This battle also consumed a certain amount of energy for him, but because of the advantage of the local area and the help of the Tianhai cannon, he won the victory without too many twists and turns. However, Juan Ping's strength and the fact that the other party had been hiding in Tianhai City for a year still made him worry. Zhang Yi's eyes swept coldly in all directions, like a lord patrolling his own territory. Tianhai City, is it not as safe as imagined? Are there still enemies lurking in the dark? And who is this guy Juan Ping? Where did he come from, and what is his purpose? Zhang Yi can't figure out all this now. After several flashes, he returned to the location of the fleeing troops and released everyone in the different space. The battle just now has made Bailey Chongqing and others fall into a state of dementia. Just the aftermath of that battle can easily kill all of them. Zhang Yi looked at the remaining 29 people in the fleeing army and said lightly, "Everyone must strictly follow the process and accept Miss Yang's test." How dare everyone have any opinions at this time? They quickly opened their mouths and shouted loudly, "Yes, everything is for the highest glories." Zhang Yi watched them with his own eyes, and they accepted Yang Xinxin's test one by one. Fortunately, the following process was very smooth, and no second Juan Ping was found. No one knew that there was an undercover like Juan Ping. Although this is good news, it is difficult for Zhang Yi to be happy. Because Juan Ping died by self-explosion, after his death, his body was completely blown to ashes, and it was impossible to obtain life tissues or obtain his intelligence.
"Xiao Honglian,"
Zhang Yi shouted.
"Here."
Xiao Honglian ran out of the crowd and stood in front of Zhang Yi in a straight military posture, with his right hand on his chest and his chest held high. "Supreme, what are your instructions?" Zhang Yi pointed at her and said, "You used to be a member of the Tianhai City Police Agency, and you are very good at criminal investigation. I will give you 3 days to investigate everyone in Tianhai City. Make sure they are innocent, and there is absolutely no suspicious person. Xinxin, go to Blizzard City to ask for the resident information of Tianhai City and provide it to her." Zhang Yi arranged the task neatly. Yang Xinxi nodded. Okay, brother. Xiao Honglian's expression was a little excited. This was the first task she received after joining the Fueying force. Now, she has another chance to get close to Zhang Yi. So this time, she will definitely seize the opportunity very seriously. Try to let Zhang Yi see her role. Yes, Supreme. Xiao Honglian shouted loudly. Bailey Chongqing came over, looked at Zhang Yi with concerned eyes and said, Captain, this matter, do you need to communicate with Blizzard City? Zhang Yi thought about it, and a sneer suddenly appeared at the corner of his mouth. Of course. Tianhai City was attacked, and there are Epsilon-level aliens lurking here for a year. Several regions of Huashu country are worthy of suspicion. Even if they didn't do it, it is possible that aliens from abroad are plotting something bad. I want to put this matter on the table. Fortunately, this time, the other party seriously underestimated his strength. Otherwise, if that person suddenly took action a year ago, Zhang Yi couldn't imagine how terrible the consequences would be. However, he also knew in his heart that this matter was probably not arranged by several major forces in Huashu country. Otherwise, they would inform Juan Ping about the level of his strength. Zhang Yi took Yang Xinxin back to the shelter and contacted the heads of several major regions of Huashu country as soon as possible to inform them of this matter. Just now, I was attacked by an alien with an ability index of 20,000+. He has been dormant in our Tianhai City for a year. It seems that he had planned to attack me. Everyone, what do you think about this matter? After receiving this news, the heads of all the regions were shocked and said that this matter had nothing to do with them. Zhang Yi was too lazy to talk to them one by one, so he directly held an online meeting for everyone to discuss the issue together. If anyone really has a problem, it is easy to reveal flaws in front of the senior management of each region. Soon, the online meeting was held, and everyone's 3D projections appeared in Zhang Yi's living room, including Zhu Zheng, the representative of the Jiangnan region, who came in person. Tianhai City was attacked, and he must express his concern to Zhang Yi. Chaos. What is going on with this matter? Can you tell us in detail? The person who spoke was Meng Yingchuan, the Xuanwu of the East China Sea region. He looked like a teenager, but he always frowned when thinking about problems, giving people a feeling of being mature at a young age. Others also stared at Zhang Yi, hoping that he would describe it clearly. Zhang Yi said lightly, Today I found an alien in Tianhai City. He has been in Tianhai City for at least a year, and when I exposed his identity, he burst out with the strength of the Black Chariot level. His eyes swept over everyone at the scene. Since when? Aliens of the Black Chariot level are everywhere. They were actually assigned to monitor me. Chaos. Zhang Yi's tone was somewhat playful, but in fact, it was because of this that he did not doubt other regions. Black Chariot, that is an existence that can stand at the top of the pyramid of aliens in Huashu country. Now, there are only him and Ho Tu who have reached the level of Black Chariot. Who would be willing to put such an important combat force in Tianhai City to lurk for a year? Sure enough, Li Changgong spoke first, and his tone was very excited. This is ridiculous. Black Chariot-level aliens, I want to know who would waste it like this? And which country in the world has such courage? He originally wanted to say that as the King of the Northwest, he is only 18,000 points now, but he was embarrassed to say it. In Shengjing region, the newly appointed Supreme Commander Meng Yuanjun looks like a gentle, middle-aged man. He also smiled and said, Yes, no matter how you think about it, this is unreasonable. Whether it is my Huashu country, Colombia, Fremons, Britannia, Gaul, or Prussia, there are only a handful of Black Chariot-level aliens. Zhang Yi's expression was very solemn, with his hands crossed under his chin. This is the most troublesome problem. If that person was not sent by you, then who could it be? For a moment, everyone fell silent. They looked at each other and gradually felt a strong sense of horror in their hearts. How powerful must a force be to allow Black Chariot-level aliens to be undercover? Chapter 1583 Suspected Underground Person. At this time, Luo Zhua, the current political and religious leader of the Southwest region, asked, Lord Chaos, the Black Chariot you mentioned, is he really a person? As soon as this was said, it was like a thunder in everyone's mind. Is he a person? Yes. Zhang Yi never said from beginning to end that the Black Chariot was a human. Luo Zhua had experienced the war with the Demon Kingdom, so he had seen those powerful and terrifying alien beings in the underground world. Therefore, he asked this question, could it be that the guy lurking in Tianhai City is not a human but from the underground worlds? Zhang Yi looked at Luo Zhua's somewhat immature face, and a smile slowly rose at the corner of his mouth. Although Luo Zhua is not very old, he has obviously grown a lot after serving as the supreme commander of the Southwest region. Zhang Yi said, he blew himself up before he died, and not even a trace of him was left. But I did notice something strange about him. For example, he was wrapped in a layer of human skin, and the structure underneath the skin was a bit like a lizard. Zhang Yi said with a deep gaze, maybe this is why he chose to self-destruct. He just didn't want us to see clearly his true identity. In the northeast region, Luya Daojun Han Shanzhuo lowered his head and murmured, does the underground world exist? These guys, could it be that they can invade our surface world? Then, that would be big trouble. An extremely solemn expression appeared on Han Shanzhuo's always smiling face. Those guys underground are very powerful. If they appear on the surface, it is unimaginable what kind of disaster they will bring to our Huaxiu kingdom. Meng Yuanjun heard this, but said lightly, not necessarily. According to Han Dun, that person has been lurking in his Tianhai city for a year. If they want to attack our Huaxiu kingdom, they should have done it long ago. He looked at Zhang Yi and asked, Han Dun, let me ask you a question. If he had attacked you a year ago, what do you think the result would be? Zhang Yi curled his lips. Everyone in Tianhai city will die. Even me. But he will also be blown to ashes by the god of death of love. Xuanwu supported his chin with one hand and nodded. Han Dun's statement is reasonable. In other words, the other party has wisdom that is no less than ours. They appeared in the human world actually to observe us. But perhaps they also realized that humans have such a terrifying weapon as the god of death of love, so they dare not act rashly, right? Zhang Yi shook his head. That may not be the case. I have seen with my own eyes that the powerful existence under the Qinling Mountains can contend with a small equivalent god of love. Moreover, the god of love may not be able to kill Ypsilon with special abilities in 1 second. So, rather than saying that they are afraid of the god of love, it is better to say that they are collecting intelligence. Zhang Yi used himself as an example and said, for example, no matter what kind of opponent I face, I will do a good investigation in advance to avoid a rollback. Han Shanzhua said coldly, if that's the case, a year is enough for them to investigate clearly. Now, there is something even more terrifying. Is this kind of undercover only in Tianhai City? Will there be one around us? This sentence was like a cold air passing through everyone's back. If there is a powerful Black Chariot-level alien lurking around them, I am afraid they will not be able to sleep well at night. Li Changgong said, that may not be the case. He looked at Zhang Yi. If it is really the existence of the underground world that has appeared, the person he should look for most is only chaos. After all, among us, he is the only one who has been to the civilization-restricted areas where multiple underground worlds are located. Everyone nodded. After the end of the world, other Ypsilon-level aliens belong to the guardian gods of the region. They are the top combat forces cultivated by the power of the entire region. So their primary task is to maintain peace in the region. But Zhang is different. He can have today's strength entirely by himself. So he does not need to be restricted by the region and can move freely. Qingdao Fog Valley, Qinling Underground, Nash Country in the southwest region, Neon Edo. He has dealt with too many underground world civilizations. So, it is not surprising that he will be targeted. Zhang Yi supported his chin with both hands. Li Changgong's words suddenly reminded him of something. About 2 years ago, he went to Qingdao Fog Valley and entered the abyss to obtain a source of God. Not long after, the Dragon King, who was also trapped in the Fog Valley, was artificially transformed and became an Ypsilon-level alien who came to seek revenge on him. Although he killed the Dragon King warned him before his death that he had been marked. Sooner or later, the existence under the Fog Valley will show up and find him. Marked? Could it be that he was being monitored by an alien disguised as Juan Ping? But why didn't he do it to him at the beginning? Zhang Yi was puzzled and lowered his head in thought. And his expression also confirmed what Li Changgong said. Li Changgong asked, "Chaos, are you hiding something from us?" Zhang Yi glanced at him and said lightly, "There are indeed some personal things. Do you want to hear it? Please speak." Zhang Yi did not hide the matter of the Dragon King and the Fog Valley, so he told it. Li Changgong frowned. "You mean that alien is from the Fog Valley? Because you went to the Fog Valley and obtained the source of God." Zhang Yi spread his hands. "Who knows? After all, I have never had any dealings with them. At that time, I just went there to look for treasure." Meng Yuanjun, who had been listening to their conversation, lowered his head and pondered. Suddenly, he raised his head and said to Zhang Yi, "Perhaps the alien has not taken action, not because he doesn't want to, but he can't do it. Can't do it." Zhang Yi frowned, unable to understand what Meng Yuanjun said. "Why can't you do it?" Meng Yuanjun laughed. "I can't explain it clearly, but the intelligence we have learned shows that it seems that those powerful civilizations lurking underground are restricted by certain rules and cannot appear in the world of humans on the surface." He spread his hands, but this restriction seems to be slowly being lifted, or the suppression is weakened. I think if you hadn't discovered the identity of that person, he wouldn't have turned against you in a short time. In Zhang Yi's mind, a thunder that penetrated the sky and the earth emerged. He recalled the thunderbolt that killed the god of the gods in Edo. Everything seemed to make sense. Chapter 1584. Warning to the Regions. After listening to Zhang Yi's words, Li Changgong came to this conclusion. "It seems that when you went to Qingdao Wugu, you did something you shouldn't have done. You offended the underground civilization there. They have already set their sights on you." Li Changgong raised his mouth with a mocking expression. "Now at least it can be proved that this matter has nothing to do with us." Hey, you called everyone over and asked for culpability. It's really annoying." Zhang Yi looked up at Li Changgong. "You talk a lot of nonsense. This is just your guess, and it can't be confirmed at all. Also, you seem to have forgotten a very important point." Zhang Yi said faintly, "If that black chariot-level alien comes to my Tianhai city, I can kill him." Li Changgong's eyes condensed. Zhang Yi was warning him nakedly. Now it is not the same as before. At the beginning, Li Changgong still had the strength to compete with Zhang Yi, but now his ability index is only 18,000 points, but Zhang Yi has reached a height of 25,000 points. The two sides are no longer on the same level. Li Changgong raised his eyebrows. "It's just a geographical advantage. If you dare to come to my northwest region, I promise to make you suffer." Meng Yuanjun quickly stepped forward to be a peacemaker. Okay, all of you say less. Now, facing an external crisis, we should be united against the outside world and never make conflicts among ourselves." Li Changgong snorted coldly, and Zhang Yi was too lazy to pay attention to him. Ever since the battle in Shengjing, Li Changgong, this arrogant guy, has always wanted to get back at the table. He has not touched Zhang Yi's reverse scale yet, so Zhang Yi doesn't want to pay attention to him. But once Zhang Yi is really angered one day, he will know how terrible the consequences are. Meng Yuanjun said to everyone, "The thing that Chaos said is very likely the reason why the Black Chariot appeared. We must not slack off and must strengthen our vigilance." He looked at Zhang Yi. "Chaos, if you need help from everyone, just speak up. We are our own people and will definitely help you with all our strength." Zhang Yi sneered in his heart. He could still hear the polite words. At this time, everyone basically believed that the attack was entirely because Zhang Yi offended the existence under the Star Island Mist Valley and had nothing to do with other regions of Huashu country. So this matter had to be solved by Zhang Yi himself. Unless it would threaten their region, they would not take the initiative. Of course, if Zhang Yi really encountered trouble at that time, was willing to bow his head and ask for help, and promise to give certain benefits, they would also come to help out of common interests. At this time, the 6 regions were like brothers who had just divided the house. There would be conflicts and struggles between each other, but when they really encountered external invasion, they also understood the principle of lips and teeth being cold, and would not stand idly by. I understand. Zhang Yi said calmly, I didn't doubt your intentions when I informed you of the matter this time. I just want to remind you to be careful of similar situations in the future. However, Zhang Yi paused, and his eyes swept over the crowd. You'd better not think that this matter is only related to me, Zhang Yi. It's better to strengthen your vigilance. Meng Yuanju nodded. Of course. Li Changgong crossed his arms and stood proudly in his marshal's uniform and said calmly, Under my leadership, the Northwest region has long been built like a copper hoop and iron lock. Anyone who dares to offend will definitely have no return. Whatever you want. Zhang Yi didn't even bother to look at him. Okay, if there are no other questions, let's end this meeting like this. Zhang Yi said. The others nodded one after another. If we encounter a situation in the future, we will discuss it again.
Then.
Let's stop here today. The representatives of various regions left the line one by one, and Zhu Zheng was still in the meeting. During the meeting, he didn't say a word. Zhang Yi called him over just out of politeness. But he had no authority to make real decisions, so Zhang Yi had to make the final decision. When everyone else had left, he spoke up, Zhang Yi, if Tianhai City needs any help, just tell me. Blizzard City will do its best to support you. Zhang Yi looked at Zhu Zheng's sincere and worried expression and said with a smile, Thank you for your kindness. But you don't need to worry about me. After thinking for a moment, he said to Zhu Zheng, Recently, strengthen the defense of Blizzard City. Although they are most likely coming for me, we must also avoid harming you. Zhu Zheng said, Zhang Yi, you don't have to say such polite words. If Jiangnan district doesn't have you, it's like a house without a pillar. So, everything will be based on you first. Zhang Yi nodded, smiled, and said, Thank you very much. If I need anything, I will contact you. Zhu Zheng then went offline. After everyone went offline, Yang Xinxin behind Zhang Yi walked up to him and sat down gently. It seems that it has nothing to do with them. Yang Xinxin turned her head and stared at Zhang. Could it really be the existence of Xingdao Wugu? Zhang Yi asked back, if it's not them, who else could it be? Yang Xinxin said, it is unlikely to be the human kingdom. Yang Xinxin also fell into silence at this time. Facing the unknown and powerful underground civilization and the possible unsolvable gap in strength, it was difficult for her to imagine how to deal with it. At this moment, she hoped that this matter was done by a superpower of mankind. Zhang Yi rubbed his eyebrows and immediately showed a bright smile to Yang Xinxin. It's not necessary to be like this. I have fought with the gatekeeper of the underworld. Now I think his strength is indeed terrible, far more than 30,000. But now, I am not the Zhang Yi I used to be. If we add the resources of the entire Tianhai City, we may not be able to stop the crisis that may come. If it really doesn't work. A fierce look flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. We still have the god of death of love. Yang Xinxin reminded Zhang Yi, so far, the launch authority of the god of death of love is still in the hands of Zhu Zheng. She gently leaned against Zhang Yi's ear, exhaling a sweet and warm breath like a little devil whispering. Want to take it away? Zhang Yi smiled faintly. No need. If I really did that, other regions would not sit idly by. After all, the death of love is extremely dangerous, and I am just a lone wolf. From what happened to Qin Shigong before, it can be seen that many people have doubts about my attitude. Besides, that kind of thing may not be as effective as the flammable Tianwei weapons in Tianhai City. Chapter 1585. Be ready. Zhang Yi's heart was still filled with worries at this time. It was not because he knew the strength of Xingdao Wugu, on the contrary, it was because he had no idea how strong that force was. He was a very cautious person. In this situation, he could only prepare for the worst. So, after the meeting, he directly called everyone in the shelter and assigned them a series of tasks. Tianhai City is likely to suffer a very terrible attack one day in the future. I don't know when that day will come. It may be a year later, or it may be tomorrow. So from now on, no one can slack off. We must do our best to be fully prepared to deal with all possible attacks. When Zhang Yi said this, his eyes were fixed on Fatty Su. He was holding a game console in his hand, and he was going to find a corner of the sofa to play games with Li Yongyang as usual in the meeting. Especially you, Fatty Sue. Be alert and don't lose points. After being glared at fiercely by Zhang Yi, Fatty Sue opened his mouth and quickly put down his phone.
Don't worry, boss.
I know what's important and what's not. I'll do whatever you ask me to do. Zhang Yi nodded. Good job. That's right. Zhang Yi called Lu Karen. The most important thing at present is to build Tianwei weapons. Today's Tianhai cannon already has very strong destructive power, and a full-strength attack is no less than the attack of the Black Chariot-level aliens. Although it has the disadvantages of inconvenience in movement and long charging time. But it is very effective to cooperate with me in raids. However, I need a more powerful armed system. It's best to be able to cooperate with me, a city defense weapon system. Moreover, the use of barrier stones must also be improved. It has a very good restraining effect on superpowers. Zhang Yi said here, looking at Lu Karen with eyes like looking at a treasure, and looking at the world today, only you have the ability to replicate the barrier stone. This will become a huge trump card for us. The barrier stone is produced in Nash country, and no one knows how it is made. When they entered Nash country, several parties took away some fragments of the barrier stone. But by the time they succeed in their research and produce similar materials, it will take who knows when. Only Lu Kuoran can use her ability of divine machine control to directly analyze the material composition structure of the barrier stone and use the existing raw materials to replicate the production. Lu Kuoran nodded vigorously. Brother, I will speed up the production of barrier stones during this period and strive to build a more powerful weapon system in order to protect the entire Tianhai city. And my brother, she said in her heart, I have to work day and night during this period to complete these. Lu Kuoran looked at Zhou Kur. Sister Zhou, I need you to help me. Zhou Kur's ability can indeed stimulate her cell activity, allowing Lu Kuoran to stay up all night for a long time. Zhou Kur frowned slightly. Kuoran, even if physical fatigue can be relieved, mental fatigue cannot be relieved. Lu Kuoran smiled brightly, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. Don't worry, I've always been strong. She raised a thumb, and her confident smile made everyone see her determination. Zhang Yi didn't have the heart to let this young girl in her early 20s suffer so much. But now, unknown crises may come at any time. No one can slack off. Otherwise, Tianhai City will face a catastrophe. Zhang Yi continued to arrange tasks. Others should cooperate fully and do their best to build the Tianhai barrier as soon as possible. However, no matter how hard you try, you don't need to worry too much. The worst consequence is that I will take you away from Tianhai City. Zhang Yi, whose ability index has reached 25,000 points, is now in Tianhai City, the base camp. If he wants to escape, unless there is a superior ability person of the space system, or an existence whose strength exceeds him by a lot, he can't be restricted at all. At least, according to Zhang Yi's impression of the gatekeeper of the underworld, although the guy's strength is extremely strong, his pursuit ability may not be strong. At that time, Zhang Yi will have a trick to escape. That is, forcibly take over the control of the god of death of love, and drag the entire 6 major districts of Huaxiu country into the water. Although this approach is a bit unethical, if you are forced into a desperate situation, you won't care so much. In the following time, everyone was busy. Zhang Yi even used the satellite authority of Tianhai City to designate the entire area of 500 kilometers in Tianhai City as a key focus area. Any disturbance must be kept within his eyes and ears. Then there was a large-scale infrastructure project that was in full swing, even day and night. But for the next period of time, Tianhai City was calm and nothing happened. A month passed quickly, and Zhang Yi lived in a tense state every day. He had to call Zhou Kur every night to give him a full-body muscle massage to relax his body and mind. People in other regions did not care about this matter. After all, everything that happened during this period was only from Zhang Yi's mouth. Perhaps the so-called invasion of the mysterious civilization of Qingdao Wugu was just Zhang Yi's personal imagination. After all, in the eyes of others, Jang has always been the type who likes to make a big fuss about the slightest movement. Even if something really happened, Tianhai City would be the first to suffer, so they don't need to worry too much. Located in the sea thousands of kilometers away from the southeast of Huashu country. For 2 years, this place has been shrouded in thick gray fog. Within the scope of the sea, no creature dares to approach easily. The fish in the offshore have long been dead. With Qingdao as the center, a life-restricted zone with a radius of 500 kilometers has been formed. Looking down from space, you will find that this is a very standard circular area. From the Battle of Qingdao to today, the warships of the East China Sea region and the Columbia Ocean Fleet patrol around every day. In their eyes, this is not only a mysterious life-restricted zone, but also a huge treasure. Awe and greed have made them try every means to break through the mystery of Qingdao Fog Valley and obtain the treasures in it. Looking down from the sky, quickly passing through the huge abyss and tens of thousands of meters of rock and soil. If you continue to go down, it will suddenly become clear. This is a huge and vast world. Above the rock wall is a dome that spans a long space. Above the dome is covered with dark blue and purple minerals, and there are silk-like clouds. In the clouds, the dark minerals are shining, like stars in the Milky Way. The sky is full of useless and dying stars. Under the dome, on a cliff thousands of feet high, sits a strange man covered in black armor and with a long tail. He raised his head and looked up at the sky, but suddenly he let out a deafening roar.